Hello and welcome to English Language Boost Lessons Online. Today's lesson is part 2 of the present simple tense and we will be learning outcome 3. First, let's revisit the 5 outcomes. Number 1, define the present simple tense. 2, list third-person singular spelling rules in present simple sentences and practice the pronunciation. 3, revise and practice positive, negative question structures for present simple tense. 4, identify the uses of the present simple tense. And 5, construct sentences in the present simple tense with time expressions and frequency adverbs in the correct word order. Now, if you watched the video before, which was outcome 1 and 2, this was in the previous video, so these two have been now completed. Today, we will be looking at outcome 3, so we'll be revising and practicing the positive, negative and question structures for present simple tense, and we will do outcome 4 and outcome 5 in the next lesson. Okay, so before we start the lesson, I would like to share with you some of the feedback and reflect on the previous lesson, so we can try to share with you what your thoughts are and how we're trying to improve the lessons for you. Okay, so feedback 1 was we were told through your comments that the font sizes and the colors that were used in the previous lesson were maybe needed to improve and change, because some of the color scheme that was used and the font size wasn't really visible for a lot of you. It was a little bit difficult for some of you to read this, so we've changed it in today's lesson. So please let us know what you feel about this. Okay. Feedback 2 we had was some of you said that the time of the lesson, the length of the lesson, that it was a very long lesson, and if we can look at trying to make it shorter. But because our lessons are interactive, some of the lessons there are activities that you have to complete, and these then do take time because we're giving you the feedback on those activities as well. But we will be looking at a variety of timed lessons, and we will have shorter lessons for you as well. Okay. So some of the other reflections were there was errors in spelling of sneezes. I think the rule that if a verb ends with a Z, we put an ES. This was mistaken by sneeze, because sneeze actually ends with an E, so it just ends with an S. Okay, so that's just a correction there. Okay. Another reflection was some of the spelling, again, a typo error, where the T was not put into the word third, and it, was missing. So we will make sure that in the future, any slides, any sort of lessons that we do, we actually make sure that all the spellings are correct. Okay. And there was a little bit of confusion. Some of you said that you were a little bit confused with the sounds of is and is. It was sounding the same. So we'll try to make that clearer for you in the future as well. Okay. So that's a little bit of feedback and reflection. And please keep bringing in the comments. Please continue to comment and continue to give us your feedback on what you feel about the lesson, because this is very important for us, so that it can help us to improve. Okay. So so today's lesson is outcome 3, and so we're going to revise and practice positive, negative and question structures for present simple tense sentences. Okay, so first of all, what is a sentence? That's something that we have to first understand before we can move on. So a sentence is a minimum of a simple sentence is a minimum of a subject and a verb. Okay, so what is a subject and what is a verb? Okay, so let's first have a look at the verb. So the verb being a part of speech. So a verb is an action word. Okay, things that we do. Okay, or some things that other people do. The action word, verb. Okay, the subject is the person or the thing doing the action. So the subject is the person or thing doing the action, and the verb is the action. Okay, so we need a minimum of a subject and a verb in a sentence. Okay. Okay, so we're going to look at present simple sentences in the affirmative and positive. Okay, so we're going to look at affirmative sentences, positive sentences. That both words mean the same thing. Sometimes in some textbooks you will see affirmative sentences. They mean positive sentences. Okay, so we have singular and we have plural. So your singular subjects are I, you, he, she, it. Your plural subjects are we, you, they. Okay. So we just talked about subject and what is a subject. So a subject is the person or the thing doing the action. Now, with a subject, we can have a noun, which could be a name of a person. For example, John. John works every day. We could have, a female name. So we could have Mary works every day. Okay, so this is third person. It's like in the second sentence. So if we said Mary works every day, in the second sentence, we don't have to repeat the name Mary again. If we say she, and then we continue the sentence, everybody will understand, it would make sense that she is actually Mary, okay? So she, he, and it are pronouns. So they replace, pronouns replace nouns, okay? So here we don't use names of people, we are using all the pronouns. So I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they are pronouns. But just the same, we could actually have a subject as the name of a person or two people, okay? Or even more people, okay? So the subject, and then we've got the verb, which is the action, okay? In this case, the action is work. And then we've got time expressions. So I've chosen the sentence could have a subject and a verb, and it could have an object. It could have other endings to the sentence. But with time expressions, they are connected to the present simple tense because it shows a pattern of an action, something that's done regularly, or it's done, there's a pattern to what's happening, okay, to what the action is, what action is going on. So if you look at the table in the verbs section, all the verbs are the same apart from where you have he, she, and it. So for third person singular, the main verb changes in positive sentences, okay? So the main verb here is work. For third person singular, he, she, it becomes works, okay? So I work every day, you work on Sundays, or you could say every day. He, she, it works on weekends. We work on weekdays. You work nowadays. They work every fortnight, okay? So if we look at the time expressions now, you can see that there's a regular pattern every day, every Sunday, on the weekends, on weekdays, nowadays, every fortnight, okay? So nowadays, this means something maybe is changed from your normal pattern, but it's something that is a pattern now. It's kind of regular now, okay? An example of that is nowadays, people are staying at home a lot because of the coronavirus, because of COVID-19. Some people are working from home because of COVID-19. So nowadays, but it's becoming a normal routine, okay? It's the new norm. That's that people are living, okay? So I've got some more examples for you here. So a subject is the person or thing doing the action, the verb, okay? So John gets up early every morning. Okay, so John is the subject. Gets is the verb. Okay, he gets up early every morning. Routine. Okay, and then in the next sentence, he always drinks a cup of coffee before he leaves the house. Okay, so in the second sentence, we don't have to repeat the name John. We're replacing the noun with a pronoun. But in this sentence, we understand that he, in the sentence, we are referring to John. Okay, so the pronoun replaces the noun. Okay, so John is the noun, he is the pronoun. So let's now look at writing a positive sentence. Okay, so think about the structure that we've just learnt. Subject, verb, time expression. Have a look at this picture and write a positive sentence for this picture. Pause the video. Okay, let's have a look at an example sentence. So here we've got, she reads storybooks after dinner every day. Okay, so she, the pronoun, subject, followed by the verb with an S because we're looking at third person singular. She is third person singular. She reads storybooks after dinner every day. Time expression, regular action. Okay, we're going to do some listening now, and we're going to listen to some people talking about their life now during the coronavirus. So it's a temporary change that they've got in their lives. Okay, so the first recording.
Hello, I am Mark, and this is my family. Our family life is different these days because I don't go to work outside. I spend a lot of quality time with my kids. My wife is a key worker. She works in Tesco. She has a shower as soon as she comes home and then relaxes for a little time. In the evening, we have our dinner together.
Hi, my name is Sue. I work in a business management company. I can't see my clients face to face, so I have all my meetings online through video calls every day. I really enjoy working from home. It's so flexible and I can give more time to my hobbies. By the way, I love baking.
Hi, I'm Amy. This is Ethan. My husband is a barber and he doesn't work these days because of this lockdown. We are staying home to keep ourselves safe. This is our home. We just redecorated it together. It is small, but it looks amazing now.
Okay, so I'll put the links of these audios in the description box. You can listen to them again Okay. Once you've heard the audios again, if you click the link to answer the questions. Okay, these were taken from liveworksheets.com, so please visit liveworksheets.com to complete the worksheet. Okay, let's do some reading now. So read the transcript below, and can you make a list of 5 things on your notebook that you and your family do these days? Okay, so here's the transcript for Sue. Okay, for Amy and Ethan. Okay. Okay, so you can pause the video to read the transcript and then write some examples about what you do these days during, well, the lockdown, after the lockdown. How has your life changed because of the coronavirus? So what are you doing nowadays? Okay, so here's some examples for you. Okay, pause the video and do this activity. Okay, so now we're going to do a little activity where you have to choose the correct verb option to complete the sentences. Okay, so here are your sentences. Pause the video and complete your answers. Okay, so welcome back. So let's check our answers now. So the first one, we've got the subject I. So I is not third person singular. So I play football on Sundays. Regular action, subject I, play verb, no third person singular, so we don't need the S on the verb. Okay, number 2, he is third person singular, so the verb is walk. This we have to change to walks, which we've chosen now, on the beach on Saturdays. Okay, regular again. So number 3, I is not third person singular, so I jump on the grass. Okay. Number 4, she. So she is third person singular, so the verb here would be drinks. Good. Okay, she drinks milk every day. Number 5, I. So I am not third person singular, so I wear blue pants. Okay. Number 6, she. So she is third person singular. Okay, so she wears green skirt. Okay, maybe she wears a green skirt. Number 7, we. So we is not third person singular, we is plural. We ride bikes. Okay. So number 8, I am not third person singular, so I surf with my daddy. Okay. Number 9, they are not third person singular. I run in the morning. Okay. Number 10, he is third person singular, so he sleeps all night. Okay. So this worksheet also has been taken from Live Worksheets. Please, you can visit to do some more exercises on present simple. So here we've got some positive sentences and thinking about the subject and the verb. Which verb do we need to choose to make the correct sentence? Okay, let's move on now. Okay, so now we're going to look at the present simple negative sentences. Okay, so with the negative sentences, we can use the short form of do not, which becomes don't, or does not, which becomes doesn't. Okay, these are helping verbs, sometimes called helping verbs. There are actually auxiliary verbs. Okay, so they support the main verb. Okay, so let's have a look at the structure here. So again, we've got the singular and the plural. And again, we've got the subject, and then we've got the auxiliary verb, which is the short form, in this case, of the negative. And then we've got the main verb, okay? So we know what a subject is, and we know what a singular subject is. Okay, and then we've got the plural. But here, the change is that we've got an auxiliary verb here now, okay? So this is the helping verb, the auxiliary verb, okay? So here, and then we've got the verb, which we did have in the positive sentence. But remember, in the positive sentence, when it was the third person singular, the main verb changed. But in a negative sentence, the change comes with the auxiliary verb. So as you can see in red, we've got he, she, it, and then the auxiliary verb has changed from don't to doesn't. So the S rule for third person singular in present simple sentences goes into the auxiliary verb for negative sentences. Okay, and then we're also going to look for the other sentences as well. So remember, for positive sentence, it's the main verb that changes, but for negative sentences, it's the auxiliary verb, helping verb, where the verb changes. Okay. So let's have a look and do some practice with a negative sentence. Okay. So pause the video and write a sentence in the negative for present simple. Okay, so let's have a look at an example. So here we've got he doesn't work as a teacher. That's your negative sentence. And remember, we've got the subject here, he's male, he doesn't. Okay, remember the auxiliary verb is carrying the S. And then the main verb stays in the same, in the infinitive form, it stays in the same. Okay, so here you've got in your negative sentence, the auxiliary verb is carrying the S. But in the second part of the sentence, we've got a positive sentence. He works as a bus driver. He doesn't work as a teacher. He works as a bus driver. Okay, so just to show you that the negative sentence, the auxiliary verb is carrying the S, but in the positive sentence, the main verb is carrying the S. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so let's just do some sentences now. So here we've got a positive sentence and a negative sentence. Pause the video and write down your answers. Okay, so if we come back now. So the first one, Jack. Jack is third person singular. We've got the verb eat. So Jack eats a sandwich. Remember the second part of the sentence, which is with the pronoun. We're now going to use a negative sentence, okay? He doesn't eat, okay? Pizza, okay? Jack eats a sandwich. He doesn't eat pizza, okay? So remember, in the first sentence, we've got the noun, Jack, and then we've got the main verb, which carries the S because Jack is third person singular. But in the second sentence, we've got the pronoun he, but we know he is Jack. And then we've got the helping verb, which is carrying the S, but the eat stays in the infinitive form. It doesn't need an S on there because we already got the S on the helping verb, okay? So Fiona, third person singular. So we've got cry. Okay, so if you watched the video before, you would know the rules there. Okay, so we can remove the Y, put IES. Okay, and doesn't cry for negative. So the next one is we. So we is not third person singular. So what happens here? We don't change the verb, okay? Okay, so we don't play computer games. So the next one, James. James is third person singular. Okay, so James flies to America. He doesn't fly, okay? Just a little correction here. If we look at the second one, Fiona cries at work. When you change cry, C-R-Y, you change the Y to an I and then E-S. It should have been highlighted as I-E-S, should have been highlighted in the yellow. Like with James, you've got I-E-S. That also should have been highlighted as well. Just a little correction there, okay? So the present simple interrogative, which are question sentences now, okay? So again, singular and plural. Okay, so we're going to look at auxiliary verb sentences, but remember we also have WH question form as well, which we will be looking at later, okay? So for now, we've got the auxiliary verb, okay? Now remember the auxiliary verb before was coming in the second position for the negative sentences, don't and doesn't, okay? But here, in a question sentence, it comes to the beginning, do and does, okay? Remember, do and does, okay? So you've got the auxiliary verb comes at the beginning, then you've got the subject, and then you've got the verb, okay? So like we had with the negative sentences, the auxiliary verb was carrying the S, okay? Was changing so that it, from don't to doesn't. Exactly the same in the question sentences, the auxiliary verb changes, okay? Not the main verb, okay? Look at the structure now. So you've got do I work, work being the main verb, that's not changed. Do you work? For third person singular, does he work? Okay, so again, the auxiliary verb is changing here, but the main verb is not changing. Okay, and the same for the plural subjects. You've got for we, you, and they, you've got do we work, do you work, do they work. Okay. Okay, so let's make a question now. So I want you to make a question for this picture, and I want you to think about a question that's going to have a positive answer. Okay, so does he work as a doctor? That's a positive answer. Yes, he does. Okay, so just try to do some more practice with sentences that are positive sentences, negative sentences, and question sentences. Okay, so just to sort of finish off now, we're going to do these anagrams. So thinking about WH questions. So I want you to think about the structure where the sentence would start with WH, then you would have the helping verb, the subject, the main verb, and then the remaining sentence, okay? So pause the video and rearrange these words to make it into the correct order. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the next one, rearrange the words to put them in the correct order. Okay, let's check that one. Okay, so we've got the WH, we've got the helping verb, we've got the subject, we've got the main verb, and then we've got the remainder of the sentence. Okay, so that's the structure that we follow on these WH questions. Okay, so that's the end of today's lesson. As a summary, in today's lesson, we've completed now outcome 3 of our 5 outcomes. So in outcome 3, we did the structures of positive, negative, and question sentences in the present simple tense. In the next lesson, we will be completing outcome 4 and outcome 5. Okay, so we hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. Please let us know how you felt about today's lesson. Okay, how we can help you to further support you. Please leave a comment. Okay, thank you for all your support and all your subscriptions. Continue to learn, continue to develop, and we'll see you in the next lesson. So until next time, bye.